minute. Did you hear what else I said?
What?
Whatever it was.
We are live. Welcome to Chat Her Up.
Hello.
Today we are going to recap Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 8, Boots on the Ground. Hey, where them fans at?
Oh.
Get up off your feet. All right.
Where them fans at? Okay.
Assuming that's why I was called that, because of course they're still in Tennessee, in Nashville, and they did
Boots
a lot
on
of.
the ground.
Isn't it funny that that's like a thing now?
What?
It's like cowboys and.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, it comes and goes.
I have some girlfriends that live. I have a girlfriend that lives in Texas. That's been a thing for them for years.
Mm-hmm,
they have these big cowboy like conventions, and now I don't know if they're conventions because they're like outside. I've seen them like in video, but this isn't new to them. This is things that they do annually, because that was one of the first things she did when she moved to Texas, maybe 10 years ago. Was they got cowboy boots and got them fitted and all that old whatever, but it's a thing.
It comes and goes here. I mean, we do something every couple of years actually here in Kansas City. Cowboy is kind of the only reason it seemed bigger, from a USA perspective, in my opinion, is because of Beyonce.
Yeah, I figured that she had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, and then all the people that she brought out with her that were already singers. So she didn't bring them out with her, but she put them on,
Yeah,
so it was good to see a lot of that.
I've seen when Beyonce released that first song. I can't think of the name of it. That one particular song that was kind of popular off that album. It was if you were following a lot of people doing that dance on TikTok, they kept showing us these black country singers. These other ones. I was like, so Beyonce ain't the only one. But I remember K. Michelle did country.
She's still doing country.
Yeah, like that.
And she's good.
Yeah. Country music and R&B are like cousins to me. They both are very soulful. We don't have a lot of true R&B today. It's very popish. All the girls sound like Sierra. I say Sierra.
That's Sierra too.
And it's not that Sierra and some of these girls don't put out like that mini girl. What's her name? Who sings Twin? It's not that they don't put out good music, because this.
Where have you been? Yeah, I don't know who that is, but I know the song.
Yeah, her and it was another song that I really like. It can be very soulful, but it seems very monotone. I miss those soulful gospel borderline singers. You just don't, that you can feel it in the bottom of your stomach. I miss that kind of singing. And the kind that'll stop you in your tracks. You'd be like, even the really good singers, like even Shamia. When Shamia sings, she sings very well, but it's so popular to throw her music and put that auto-tunes on it, in my opinion, messes up her voice, or it downs her voice. And Shamia is a great singer, but that's what's popular today. That monotoneness, so you have a lot of auto-tunes going on. It irritates me. I miss soulful lettucey. I miss that kind of music, but I'm not their target audience. I always have to remind myself that, I'm not their target audience.
Yeah.
And I can remember when we were younger, my mother thought Mary J. Blige was just terrible. Oh. I specifically remember her. I don't know,
her voice or
her voice and how she dressed and everything. Because Mary J. Blige went to some award show, and I want to say she had on jeans. They were probably torn, and I remember her saying, "Why she look like she going to the grocery store? That's just terrible." Like, I specifically remember her talking about Mary J. Blige, and I was a teenager. I was
Yeah.
18, 19 years old. I was a freshman maybe in college
Yeah.
going home when they lived in Birmingham. I used to go back there for those quick holidays instead of coming back to St. Louis. But yeah, I remember that. So, it just shows that I'm old.
Well, you was a teenager. I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
I think me and Mary the same age.
Right.
All of us. We right there together.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we just getting old. But all right, let's come on and do the chapstick moment of the day. We wanted to, we got two things. Callie's going to lead one and I'm going to lead one. I'm going to lead the Porsha. If you all have been watching, Porsha puts out a video, a YouTube.
What? Wait a minute. I hate to interrupt, but we probably should have did mine first because it has nothing to do with housewives.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, mine won't be long. It's just for anyone who's ever watched the Super Bowl draft, the NFL drafts every year. This weekend, and Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders, and I did not know Shiloh Sanders was waiting to be signed as well.
Yeah.
But it was a big deal this weekend because they expected Shedeur Sanders to be like the fifth person called day one. And come day two, he still hadn't been called. And then I kept seeing everybody posting about it and complaining about it. I'm thinking, so what is the complaint? When I heard it was all about Deion Sanders, I thought, okay, they just don't want him at the table. They know he can do it. They know he has connections, and they want to show him, in my opinion, that you're still just Deion Sanders. You really ain't running nothing. That's what I got from it. And I think it was so petty, so immature, and in my opinion, should make Deion Sanders feel more powerful because clearly they were obvious in what they were doing. Petty, bullcrap, and he came on missing out on maybe $35 million, they said, because of how late they called his name. Ain't that's just tacky. I thought it was foul that they're holding him back because of his father. Not because of his own abilities, but his father. And then, so that was it. He did end up making it, of course. The other thing, I don't know if we want to talk about it or not, but it's Shannon. What's his name? The Shannon and the girls, the young kids. Mm-hmm. What's his last name? Shannon, the football guy. Shannon Sharp. Is that his name?
Oh, yeah. Shannon Sharp. We can real quick.
He's a mess. I don't, the first day he came out, he said, this is a shakedown. You just want to call out the black people. You did the same thing to Jay-Z. I thought, ooh.
That is the same lawyer. He's saying that because.
Well, I know why he's saying it. But to me, when you throw Jay-Z in it, and Jay-Z's case has now been closed, they never had audio recordings of Jay-Z.
Right.
They never had some of that downright detailed stuff that might make you change what you're going to announce. So to me, it doesn't even compare to Jay-Z. And I thought, God, you're going to mess up right there. And then 1 hour later, here comes the first release tape. So anyway, I think he kind of hurt himself there. And especially when they started playing Monique's commentary with him and Cat Williams, and every's telling him,
he played himself. He played himself. Not only is this an unattractive girl just in general, she's 19. She's 19 years old and he's 57. It ain't nothing a 57-year-old can do for a 19-year-old but pay her.
And she knows it.
And obviously, but she must have something on him because more than just what we've seen, because he offered her $10 million and she walked away from $10 million.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what more could it be to me? It sounds like it was consensual.
It was.
They both wanted to do the role playing and all that.
Yeah.
But when she said, "I told you to wear a condom and you didn't,"
the fact that everything was big and black. I want to have your big black baby. I want you to put your big black so and so in my. They were straight race. Role playing. He needs to be ashamed of himself. Like, I don't even feel bad for him. You done let this little 19-year-old girl take you off your game. You done got fired from ESPN. You gonna lose everything you have, and don't nobody have respect for you. That's what I hate to say. That's what you get, because that ain't cool, and I don't really want to take enjoyment out of seeing somebody knocked off the peg like that. But he's stupid. He's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it comes off like you're not even thinking. This little girl is playing you like a fiddle. and he's not even, he's just talking away and, well, you gonna make me choke you. And I'm like, do you
Yeah.
really? But the way she was talking, it, she sounded like something was being recorded.
Yeah,
I don't know, their
she
normal
knew what she was
conversation.
doing. She got
Yeah,
all of that footage for a reason. The mere fact
yeah.
that she was like, well, I don't want to be choked. Like, girl. But anyway, moving
Yes.
on
Okay.
because
Yeah.
we almost
Hmm.
10 minutes in.
Yeah,
So
we are.
let's move on really, really quickly. Porsha. Porsha
Mm.
and Porsha does this podcast, not really a podcast, but she does this. She does these YouTube videos. She released 2 of them last week, one on Monday and one on Thursday, and it was with her and Dennis. First of all, her and Dennis have really good chemistry. The first one was really, really good. I think it's better than the show personally. Her and Dennis, believe it or not, just cooking hot dogs in Simon's house, by the way, which I just tickled pink about that. But the second half was really interesting. And one of the things that Dennis did, they were talking about, somebody had asked Porsha the question, or Dennis the question, do you get to basically smash your baby mama? And Porsha was like, we hadn't done anything in almost a year before we broke up. And had something to do around his birthday in June. And she was like, we were broke up for 11 months, but he kept saying he wanted his family back. So, and by the way, y'all, this is 2020. So apparently in December 2020, around Christmas time, she called Dennis and was like, if you want to be with me, bring the ring back and we can have a conversation. Dennis reveals that prior to that, he kept bringing the ring back, but she kept sending it back with Pilar because they kept getting into it. So at one point she said, okay, for real, if you want to get back together, let's get back together. Bring the ring back and no more backwards and forward. We're going to take an effort. Porsha was afraid because she had been really mean to him. He appreciated her admitting that. And because she had never admitted that before, because she was just taking her anger out on him. I believe that. But something that Dennis said that just tickled me pink. He said, so in December, when he didn't bring back the ring, she was like, forget it. And then he said in January, this is of 2021, I saw this dude, talking about Simon, approached him in the airport. Now, because I know the timeline, I'll tell you all. Dennis basically just exposed Porsha. Here's the exposure. Simon in 2022, all of this, 2021, all of this is documented. You can all go Google. In 2021, he filed for a divorce from Fallon twice. He filed in January and then he withdrew it, apologized online and everything. And it became a big story. And I'll tell you why. It became a big story because people were saying, what is it? They were writing these articles saying, what is it about these people going on Housewives and ending in divorce? So it wasn't so much that they cared about Fallon and Simon because they were very minor within that season, if y'all remember. But people started writing articles specifically that started because of Simon and Fallon. And Simon in real life, in January of 2021, withdrew his original petition. Okay. Then 2 months later, in March, he filed again. This time when Simon filed, he put out a video of his assistant coming to his house after he left out of town. He actually posted that video online.
Right.
And then he filed for divorce again. So at this point, he's saying he's through. Now, according to Porsha, and if you watch Porsha's Family Matters, Porsha claimed, we know for a fact that in May of 2022, that at Mother's Day, Porsha announced her engagement to Simon, and Dennis was also there then. She claimed on both online when she started doing interviews and when on Porsha's Family Matters that they only dated for 1 month. But on the video that they released, according to Dennis, Simon was asking about Porsha in January.
We all knew that.
which is what Callie has been arguing with me. That Porsha
forever.
messing. It's just hard for me to feel sorry. I'm not a person that believes that cheating is okay by any means. But it was hard for me to make Fallon a victim because Fallon was actually pregnant for real with his assistant, and we know that because she gave birth to his child in early November. So when Simon filed for a divorce and he said she was pregnant, and she was denying it, he wasn't lying about that. So she was having an affair. Obviously, it seems they were both having an affair.
It's not, it seems. It's just a fact. I've never once thought anything about her being pregnant. Clearly, if that man was cheating for as long as he was, and if he was asking about Porsha or any other woman before any divorce was announced, come on, you know he was out there cheating. Come on, you're gonna ask this man about the mother of his child while you still married, and then in 5 months y'all engaged? Come on, he was cheating.
Well,
anyway.
I will
so
say
Fallon being pregnant, never. So what? He was cheating. She did what she had to do.
One of the things I wonder about, because Porsha always argued that she jumped in his inbox and said, "Are you okay?" I've never really tripped about it, but I've always wondered, was it the first time or the second time?
Probably the 12th time.
Because if it was the first time, it was in January. Because he filed for a divorce in January.
He should trust me. She was in his DMs before divorce was even mentioned on the air. Trust and believe. You was looking good when you invited me over to that pool party. Did you like the way I threw my leg up on the water bench with Faye?
That's what makes all of this so egregious with what we're going to talk about today. And we can move on in this episode.
Well, honey.
Huh?
Is that it on them?
Yes, but we're going to talk a little bit about this later. The reason that it's important is because of what Angela mentions today in yesterday's episode. One of the things that she said, which would kind of be a true statement, even Simon isn't the first time Porsha has been accused of messing with somebody married. If y'all remember, I can't remember what season it was. I'm thinking it was 9, the season that Claudia Jordan joined. Claudia accused her of messing with a married African, and that's how she got her Rolls Royce.
Simon's cousin.
So I don't know.
So she kept it in the family.
I don't know if that's his cousin.
That's what they said.
I don't think it was his cousin because she's said that they weren't related. And I just think saying because somebody's an African that they Simon cousin is.
I don't think we said that. She said that.
She didn't say that because she
said that. Where else did we get it from? We wouldn't have known.
We didn't. I think that was on the street. She was interviewed and somebody asked
with
her
Porsha,
were they
cousins,
and she said no. Yeah. So anyway, let's move on to this episode. The episode begins with Cynthia and we're not going to go through scene by scene because it wasn't a whole lot this episode. This was
one of the best episodes to me.
You think so?
Only because of Nashville, Tennessee. I need to get to that Coyote Bar in the Grill. They was having
that was fun to watch.
It was fun to watch.
It was different. It was different.
Yeah, not their direct stories, but the fun that they had, more fun than I would have ever expected to see from Tennessee.
I'm glad that they are showing a little fun because these episodes have been dry.
Yes, they have.
That so without Kenya, there's too much focus on drama and not focus on fun. So anyway, let's get on in it. Drew has entered the set. Drew is walking around and she sees her room, the bunk beds. I don't think that I don't necessarily like what's going on with Porsha, but I understand why she got that room. I don't think that was mean.
Okay.
Because if one of the options that she did have is that there were 4 beds upstairs, and only 3 of them went up there. She could have also gone up there. It was 4 beds upstairs. It was 4 in the attic because that's where the new girls are. All 3 of the new girls are up there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily think that it was mean that she got that room. Porsha did not invite her. Now that's the part I just think is jacked up, that Porsha didn't invite her. I do think it's jacked up that she didn't, and that's only because it's a class trip and you messing with her money. When when you're not on a class trip, and if you don't have anything to film, 9 times out of 10, you will not get paid for that episode.
I mean, I can understand that. I mean, I understand if this is really your birthday and you brought your personal girlfriends and everything with you. I get that. But the fact that it was also a work trip, then she was supposed to be there.
Yeah, she was supposed to be there. I think everybody is invited for work trips. Yeah. And even when you don't invite somebody, you should expect for somebody else to. We've watched enough reality TV to see it play out. Yeah. Now, where I don't think that Porsha was wrong was that now that you on a trip, there's a scene when Porsha sees Drew initially in the house. Drew and Porsha hug.
Well, they were on their way out to the.
It don't matter. So obviously she was.
Well, they were going out. That's why I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, they did hug.
So obviously she was good. That's why I was ticked off at her, Drew, making the scene at the table later on in the episode, because Porsha has seen you. She hugged you.
Okay.
She knows you're here. She didn't say I don't want her where I'm going. She was like, let Drew pick where she wants to go. So it's whatever. I don't understand why Drew made a big deal out of it. Why would you ask a woman, are you okay with you being here, when she didn't invite you? When she saw you, she hugged you, and you went on the excursions that they had. Why make a scene at the table? That's the part that I didn't understand from Drew. What do you want her to do? Kiss your tail? She didn't want you here, but she ain't being mean to you. So let it ride.
Well, if that's how you feel,
I mean, that's what I would have done. I would have gotten liquored up and them get liquored up, have fun, and then I would have slid over there and talked to her. To Drew, what she did, in my opinion, that particular part was messed up. She made a scene. She made an issue where there was none.
No, it was an issue.
Why was I'm not saying that it wasn't an issue, but
it wasn't an issue. That's all I'm saying. It wasn't an issue. Whether she hugged her 4 hours and 4 drinks ago doesn't matter. It was an issue. Should she have brought it up? No. But when she did bring it up, Porsha said,
she was happy to see her.
Porsha was real short about it when she
actually
said,
had a smile on her face.
You cool. She didn't smile. She said,
I'm looking at it. I'll send you a picture.
She did. I don't need a picture with the Photoshop. She didn't smile. Porsha looked at her and said, you cool.
Callie.
I have a TV too. We both saw the show.
I'm going to send it to you.
Girl.
She was smiling when she hugged her. And walked over to her.
When she was smiling when she was kissing up on Charles in her dreams or something. Because on this scene here, she was not smiling.
I'm looking at it.
She's not smiling. She said, you cool, and left it alone. Now, if
you're talking about later. I'm talking about when she saw her.
Smirk doesn't go as a smile.
That's not what I'm talking about, Callie. You're correct that she wasn't smiling when she said you're cool. That's what
we're talking about. That's what I said.
No, I wasn't talking about that.
Okay.
I was talking about when Porsha saw Drew for the first time, Porsha with a smile over her face walked toward her and hugged her.
Well, yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. So if she's shown you that, and everything, I ain't gonna say is good, but she walked up to her and hugged her. She wished her happy birthday. She thanked her. They went on the excursions. Now, when Porsha comes back at the table, at that point, she has gotten a phone call that Drew and Dennis have both lied to her.
Well, I think Dennis, I don't know about Drew.
Dennis said that she asked both of them, and both of them said that they had not filmed together. She told Dennis, not if you're filming with Drew, then there's going to be a problem. I didn't hear her tell Drew that. So what we know is she told Dennis that. So you can't be mad at Drew for that. I'm not. She wasn't, but she said that she was told by both of them that they were not filming together.
Maybe that was before they started filming together.
I don't know. I don't know. But she said that now she's gotten a phone call that they have filmed together.
Yeah.
So that's the phone call that she got.
Yeah.
And she made it clear that she's not finna go off on Drew about that, because she's not the issue. It's Dennis.
Right.
So she sits down at the table, and for whatever reason, now Drew wants to mention, are you cool with me being here? Girl, she has hugged you. She has thanked you for wishing her a happy birthday. She has, I ain't gonna say allowed, that's not really fair, but you have gone on, because it ain't like Porsha paid for none of this. You are on the excursions with the girls. You picked where you went. You wanted to go with your friend Angela, so you went with your friend Angela. And you're on this trip. Why was she? I don't understand why Drew would mention it again at the table. It didn't make sense to me. It did.
Well, you mean mention it for the first time? Because earlier when they were walking out and
Yes.
she hugged her, happy birthday, bring it on. When she mentioned it then, it was an elephant in the room. They had not talked about it. Whether she should have brought it up or not, maybe she should not have.
But that's what I'm saying. Why?
Well, because it had not been discussed. It was an elephant in the room. That's why.
It was unnecessary.
But it was still an elephant in the room.
It's just like with Angela. Angela's sitting at this table.
Yes, there's the one I had.
The heat is on her, so she wants to deflect the heat and then say, well, Kelly asked the question, why aren't you being held accountable for stealing that man's husband? I'm like, what? Where we going?
Yeah. So that drove me a little crazy, because I'm thinking, you don't know what Porsha's upset about right now. You're trying to force her into this conversation that has nothing to do with anything. Just leave it alone. So I did think Angela was kind of pushing it in that moment, because this is not about you in this moment. No matter what Porsha is not saying,
off of her.
Yeah, she was trying to do something, and it was in poor taste in that moment. Yeah. Normally, maybe it would have been okay, but yeah, I agree.
Do you want to talk about Shamia and when she gets this phone call?
No.
Okay, we can move on about the domestic violence. Yeah. I did not know. I do remember them filming that episode a couple of.
I do too. I remember Cynthia's mom crying. Yes, it was a touching episode. I hated that it came when it came, but they were able to move beyond that sad moment and continue trying to have fun. So yeah.
Which excursion would you would have wanted to go on? The coyote one or the whiskey tasting?
I just, can I go on both? They both look fun.
No, you would have. I would have went to the whiskey tasting only because I don't like whiskey. I don't like liquor, but I would have gone to the whiskey tasting because I ain't jumping on no bar. That ain't my style.
You don't drink any liquor at all?
I don't really. I mean, periodically somebody will buy something and I'll take a sip, but like buy liquor, that don't make no sense to me. That's poison. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's never made sense to me to buy alcohol. That's like, there's too many things in the world I want to spend my money on. Liquor just isn't one of them. Like, I have whiskey in my house for like colds.
Girl, poison is poison.
And wait a minute, wait a minute. Years ago, my brother said it was poison because it was like 10 years old. Because I had it, and you just take a cup. When you sick, you make yourself a hot toddy. And I ain't sick that much.
Yeah, poison is poison. It don't matter if you burn it. Angela said she didn't think that that's a Bravo paid trip that they were on. I thought it was, but I thought it was. I don't know.
I don't know. Okay. You think they paid for them airline tickets? I don't think so.
It was just a 35. Did they have to go on a plane? It was just 35 minutes, I think.
They flew.
Okay.
They flew. They probably could have drove, but they flew. And I think that this one, she may have done some things, but these trips are, and it looked like it was a private plane, only because they went outside to load.
Yeah, but I didn't notice any of that.
Yeah, I noticed that. They were outside loading.
Okay.
But they did go to the airport. Nashville flights are cheap. Yeah, I know. Maybe. I don't know. But all the franchises go on 2 trips a year. They go a place in town and a place out of the country. That has been pretty standard in all the other franchises. They'll go to, I think, Salt Lake last year, went to Wyoming, and then they went to, was it Aruba? I forgot where they went. It's pretty normal. They'll go somewhere local and then somewhere out of the country. That's just been kind of normal. And they usually go, when they go to the local place, it's pretty close. Even Potomac does that. It's pretty common. Toward the end, they go out of the country toward the end. But that's just been how the franchises have been moving in probably the last 5-6 years, and it's across the border. But it does look like Porsha and them had a lot of fun, but I does. Them the freaky girls over there. Shamia, Kelly, and Porsha are the freaky girls. And I ain't gonna say freaky girls. Really, they have a lot of fun, young. To be in their 40s, they have a lot of young energy.
In their 40s?
All of them in their 40s. I don't know how old Kelly is.
Drew's
43, and I'm assuming
Drew is 43.
I think she is. Let me see how old.
I didn't think Drew was even 40.
I don't know how old is Drew Sidora.
And
she 39. She 39.
Okay, all right.
And Shamia and her went to school together, so I'm assuming Shamia about the same. According to Angela, she's 43. I cracked up when she said I'm 43 to be exact. I kept saying, if that ain't no Nene, that's that Nene and Phaedra sound on TikTok. I'm 43 to be exact. And
yes.
And Paige would be like, okay. She said, I just had a birthday. Phaedra says, well, congratulations. Happy birthday.
Okay. You say so.
Right. So they're close to their 40s. Now, I don't know how old Kelly is, and I don't know how old new girl Britt is. But yeah.
What do you think about some of their outfits? Do you remember any of them?
Yeah. Which day?
I think it was the night that it was the odd night that Drew brought up the topic at the table we were just talking about. I think that was the night because Kelly had on that dress, the cow dress. I thought it was pretty. I thought it was really nice. And then Britt Edie also had on a really nice cow outfit.
Yeah, I saw
and from as I understand it, it is those outfits that's going to be the demise of their friendship.
Because of the outfits?
Because of the stylist. So apparently, Kelly said, I'm going to give, Britt didn't have a stylist, so I'm going to hook her up with my stylist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The stylist apparently, I guess, stayed with Britt. I don't know if he tried to work with both or whatever, but the stylist broke up that friendship along with other things, but that was the start of it.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering when that's going to happen.
Because
one of the things I learned last night, obviously this season is going to have a lot of more episodes than I thought. Because Andy said Phaedra will be there in about 4 or 5 episodes.
I was surprised it's so far away. How many episodes we got?
I don't know, but allegedly, if I heard it correctly, I specifically remember before the season started, somebody saying that Phaedra is only going to be in 6 episodes.
And they're not going to be for another month?
That's what it looks like.
That sounds like a long, long time.
But Phaedra wasn't in the after show yet either.
Yes, she was.
No, she not the one I watched today. No,
she's in there. I watched it.
I watched it too. Phaedra's not. I know that Phaedra will come, but the one that
they had her on there. They showed her.
No, I just watched it. Kelly,
I did too.
On Peacock.
Yes.
I just watched. She's not in there. It's only.
Right
now. It's on. I know that I've seen clips with Phaedra in it. Those are demos.
Those are just previews. Okay.
Yes. The one that they actually have on Peacock that I just watched that's 19 minutes long, Phaedra's not there because they're only talking about the episodes up to now. Phaedra's not been there.
Okay. So Angela, let me ask you a quick question. You said you loved all the outfits. Does that include Shamia's outfit, that blue dress thing? I didn't like that one from the back. Did you notice it, Joy?
Only outfit that I noticed was Porsha in all black. I was like, huh? When I was watching all of them come downstairs and they had these like wild like outfits. Porsha looked like she had on a sundress.
Yeah.
A black sundress.
Porsha was just like plain. She was mad about Dennis,
Yeah.
listen, and Drew.
So
but
she
no,
just decided not to change clothes. So she just looked like nothing.
Yeah, she was just. And let me just say this while it's on my mind. Seeing last night's episode with how she still reacted to Drew or whatever, and then seeing her on Watch What's Happened Live, how she was totally positive about Drew, everything. Did you notice that big difference?
I
like Drew. As long as she can do baby hair, I'm good. Come on.
If I don't know what's happening with Porsha. Porsha seems read the bag. I don't know. I think Porsha is weird. Porsha should have Porsha should have she's really confusing. She's really mad at her, you know, on this show, but she's just like, she wants to act like she doesn't care. But I do get, if I don't know if you all have the opportunity to watch Peacock. She does do a better explanation of why she doesn't want her issue. She doesn't want Dennis to have this platform. It ain't Drew. It's really 100% Dennis. And she gives a really good example because she's talking to Britt and she asks, who else is she with? I can't remember who else she with because it's not Shamia. I can't remember, but she asks a really regular. She's asking somebody else, but she's talking about Drew. Oh no, it wasn't Porsha. It's who's with Drew. I think it was Cynthia that asked Drew, how would you feel if
she answered
somebody started filming with Ralph? And Drew never answers that question.
Yes, she did answer it. She says, well, it wouldn't be a thing to me, just like when Phaedra and Ralph filmed together. They're filming together. So what? She did answer it.
That's not what she said. She said
she
said we're in a friend group. She says if we're all in a friend group,
which they are.
And she said, and they said bumping into, I don't think bumping into Drew's answer is based around, she feels like if she was okay with me working with Dennis, why is she having a problem with me filming with Dennis? That was her whole thing. She never answers the question directly because I guarantee you that
Drew?
Yes.
Drew did answer the question directly.
She flipped that whole thing and start asking another question.
I think you are flipping it. She answered it. She says it wouldn't be a big thing to me because Phaedra and the husband have worked together. What do you mean?
Yes, have worked together, and filming with them on this platform is totally different. What
is the difference?
I think that it's different because if you have a contentious relationship, and Drew does, Ralph is a whole girl. He reminds me of, and I love me some old boy in Huntsville, but he's a whole girl. Ralph would lay Drew out. All this business that she trying to keep out the press, I can guarantee you she don't want none of these girls filming with Ralph. Because Ralph is going to tell
them. So don't believe what she says.
Because nobody believes what.
Sure, you can't say that though.
But it's the truth.
Drew said it wouldn't bother her, and so until we know otherwise, that's what we have to go with. How do you? Joy, you can't say that. It has never happened. So when you ask someone that question that's never been through it, they're going to give you their answer. Well, just like Phaedra, I was here.
And she deflecting the whole conversation and talking
How
about.
How is that deflecting? She gave an example of somebody else on the show that worked with her husband. That is
working with him and filming with him is totally different.
Lord have the mercy of the soul.
And we'll have to see it. And we still haven't seen it.
And so Joy is really saying she's lying. Really?
She is. Everything that come out of Drew's mouth is a noun, a verb, and a lie.
Oh, because Porsha has told no lies in her life.
Oh, I sure didn't say that. Porsha is a big
you're basically saying that when you just calling somebody else a liar when they just told you their truth.
I ain't never said
she
that.
She gave you the example, Joy.
She's a liar, though.
Okay. wait a minute, Cynthia. Let me see, Angela. Okay, Cynthia pissed me off at the dinner table. I thought that was weird too, Angela. I thought, are you getting up? What you want? I don't.
Thank you. She definitely don't want. That's why she was fighting so hard to close them.
What are you saying? Thank you to
Angela's saying here. I put it up. Angela's saying Drew is full of nasty secrets, and she definitely don't want any of her castmates to talk about him. She don't, and let's keep it above.
But we're not talking about her castmates talking about him.
But if he is talking, if he's filming,
they are working together. They have worked together. So until we know otherwise, how can you just say she lying? Joy, stop. That don't make no sense. Well, I know this is what she said, but that ain't what she meant. And you don't have anything else to back that up? That's just like a waste of conversation.
I do. Drew, everything that come out of Drew, yes, it is. Everything that come out of Drew's mouth is a lie. That girl is allergic to the truth.
Is Ralph even her husband at this point?
Right. I don't know. He might not be.
Oh, Joy. I cannot with you. Okay, go ahead. Drew, here's what's weird. You cannot sit here and discuss how much of a lie Drew is, but talk about Porsha like she's a saint.
I didn't say that. I just said that
everything that comes out of your mouth.
That's not true. I just said that.
Understand why she feels this way. Understand this and this and that. Come on.
I just don't believe nothing. Joy. I think that Porsha tells half truth. Drew just lied.
You were telling me
she opened her mouth.
For 3 years. Come on, Joy, stop. Come on. It's cute though.
I just spent the whole, I believe she a liar. I just spent the whole time in the chapstick giving an example of her lying.
Liar. Come on, you fight for him harder than anything. So the fact that you're fighting now for Porsha, it's just status quo.
Ain't nobody fighting about Porsha. I'm talking about Drew. You're mixing the two.
It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not mixing
Porsha could be a liar, but two could be.
And even in her exact verbatim words, you say she lied. Really? Well, okay. Well, let's wait till it happens before you call her a lie. How about that?
And one of the things I think that she don't want is that I could guarantee you that Ralph accused her of messing with that girl. Because that
girl, the basketball player.
I guarantee you that's in there. That's what Drew don't want to come out.
Well, maybe, I don't know, or don't care, because we all know Ralph cheated. Let's just be clear. I don't care who they mess with, though. But until we see it and have more to talk about, how are we just going to call the girl a lie? That's what she said. It's what she said, and we have no reason to think otherwise because we ain't seen nothing different. You can't say that about Porsha. Next topic.
Oh, child. Anyway, I thought it was so corny that they actually had a line dancing class and they can't play the music. I think that's so stupid.
Wait, did they not play the music?
Yes, I guarantee you what we're hearing is not the music that they're listening to.
Okay. Because when I just listened to it, there was music on there, but you said it was kind of like an overplay, not the real stuff.
Yeah, I guarantee you it will, because if you look at them, they're clapping their hands, they're bouncing their body. I think that is like the stupidest thing in the world. And in my opinion,
but right now we're talking about Drew's lies. Angela, child. All right.
Well, thank you, Angela. I know Porsha lie. I ain't never said she wouldn't lie. I just spent the whole 10 minutes talking about how much of a liar she is.
But what did you say yesterday?
Drew definitely is a liar.
What did you say yesterday as we was DMing? This is even low for Porsha. Porsha wouldn't do that. Girl, please.
I think she's disgusting. We gonna get there.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about what you've already said. What you've already said since we're talking about that.
Let's get there since we are ready to talk about the table. Because
Denicio, come get your girl.
No, before we do that, let me say this. I don't like Britt, but I have to admit, when Britt and Drew and whoever went on the whiskey tasting thing, when they were sitting down talking, that was the most articulate I'd ever heard her discuss really what happened to her. I think if Britt had approached that dinner like that, I think everybody would have more empathy for her. And I do believe so. Britt said, because that's something that women can relate to. Because Britt came to that I don't know, whatever that thing was that Kelly through for her last episode.
The brunch.
Yeah, the brunch. Britt came to that brunch like, the witches that she's gone. I'm here. So let's not talk about it. It was so, and it was kind of unfair to the girls that really did like Kenya, really did bond with Kenya. So they were irritated by that. And that's why they responded to Britt the way that they did. But if Britt had came to that brunch and with a little bit of humility, like she did when she was talking to those ladies, because while I don't like her, and Britt, in my opinion, could really use this she could have used this at her advantage, because every woman in her single years have done things that we may not necessarily be proud of. But you know, Gen X, I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. We grew up in an era where, you know, the internet and putting things on the gram, all of that didn't exist. Where these younger girls, these millennials, that's been their thing. They put their booty on Instagram. They do the things that our mamas told us not to do. And they put it on the internet. And now this is an example of what you do in your youth can come back and bite you in the tail. You know, and especially these pictures. This is really, she could have used this.
What?
Yes.
Okay, because I think maybe I need to go look at that scene over again, because all I kept thinking, while you want us to say, look at the way y'all came in and treated me, look at what I had just been through. What did you put Kenya through when you threatened her with the gun? Whether you
I'm not. I actually agree with. I'm not discounting what Britt did. I think she brought some terrible ghetto energy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so when she was having that conversation about how would you feel, how would you this, how would you that, I kept thinking, well, how do you think Kenya felt? So what she was saying is still.
But Kenya wasn't afraid. Kenya was just pissed. Let's be honest. Right. Let's be honest. Kenya wasn't afraid. You don't antagonize people you are afraid of. You
said
leave
Kenya
them
was
alone.
Afraid?
Huh?
Said Kenya was afraid? Is that what you said?
I'm not saying that she wasn't, maybe not felt away in the moment, but I don't think that Kenya thought her life was going to end that evening. But I do think it ticked her off that this girl was allowed to threaten her, the people around her, because essentially this is their employment, and their employers allowed it to push under the surface as if it wasn't, as if it wasn't anything like this was no different than talking about her mama. It's not the same. So I'm 100% on Kenya's side in that regard, but you can't act like that's tit for tat. What Kenya did, although we could talk about all that, you can't control how a person responds when you're hurt or shaded or whatever. I even agree with that, Callie, because I know you're going there. But I do think having the most intimate, the most private things that you have done, blasted in front and room full of people and cameras, because while common sense would be that the world wasn't going to ever see those
200 people did. So that's probably fewer than saw her on OnlyFans.
Correct.
Okay,
I'm not arguing that. I'm not even arguing that, but even if she was a straight up sex worker walking down Hollywood Boulevard looking for a date in California on Sunset Avenue, you know, nobody wants their past thrown up in their face. And I agree that as a woman, if you have changed your life, you don't want to do that no more, and you have decided to do things legally by getting your license or doing something that's not sex work, and then somebody throws it in your face and humiliates you over the internet, because even if they never see it, they know she had a penis in her mouth.
Okay.
All of us know that. Somebody's.
Right.
And took a picture of it.
Right.
Nobody wants those sort of things spread like that.
I get it.
And my point was, I had a slither of empathy for her when she was talking. And I think had she approached that brunch like that, in my opinion, it would have been received differently. Because I even thought that she gave Angela a really good example when she said, well, how am I not how am I playing a victim? Not only did she give her a good example, she could have gave her a better one. And a better one would have been, you invited Drew here, and now you're wondering why everybody's mad at you. Because that, like, you started this. You did this.
Yeah, everybody did acknowledge that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that would have even been a better example. Angela does create this chaos and then wants to sit back and watch this tornado and then wonder, why y'all mad at me?
Just like Britt. So we can stick to Britt. She did the same thing, only worse. So we know what Angela did. Porsha's brought it up. Everybody she's talked to brought it up. Yeah. But in that conversation, when she was sitting there continuing to simply say, you know, yeah, private, she did. Okay. I mean, I don't want to keep repeating that, but exactly, Angela.
That's so funny.
I agree. 200 people at the party, they said, at the Little Kenya. There was maybe 200 people there that saw that. And now just think, if Bravo had never even aired any of that, we wouldn't hear nothing else about it. They brought this to the screen. So when you want to sit there and be mad while this girl threatened my life and y'all didn't do anything about it, but now y'all mad because 200 more people saw the photos that were already out there to see. No, I'm sorry, I don't have anything. And then when you did come to the brunch, you sat right there and said, well, she's not here. I am. It's all about me. Let's go. Are you slow, Angela? Come on. Don't come celebrate that stuff. And then get mad because this ain't about you. This ain't about you. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you. I just thought that was a conversation that had she approached the brunch that way, I think the girls would have received it a little bit differently.
I don't think they should have.
Okay.
But what do I know?
Okay. I mean, I don't doubt that.
She said more.
Britt Pass was being discussed when they announced she was on the show. I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that.
And has been for years.
I don't know
before her nose surgery and everything. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I had seen those pictures. I don't know when this had first announced what Kenya did. I Googled her. I found a whole website. And I'm talking about 15, 20. I don't even think it was that long. It could have been like 5 or 10 minutes of me searching. I found a website that was hers. It appeared. And on this website, when she said she scrubbed it, that's the first thing I thought about. Half the pictures were gone, but some of them were still there. And the pictures that were still there, she was all naked in them. But but she was like covered. Like she was like sitting in a pool, leaning on the side. She obviously didn't have anything on the top, but you didn't necessarily you didn't see the front of her boobs, but you saw the side. There was a picture of her literally bald naked on with her head down, and I heard that ended up on a CD cover, and that she was butt naked, but it was like you don't see the crack of her butt, but she's naked on her knees. So there were like several other pictures, but those two stand out specifically in my memory. But that was last summer. That was when this first happened. And I just Googled her just to see, are the pictures still out there? Because people were saying in real time, all those pictures are on the internet.
And I mean, and they have been in real time, in fake time, in all time. They've been out there. So just for me, don't get me wrong. I don't want, listen, then how old is she? If she did this in her 20s or whatever, we was all skinny and cute back then. Look, I still wouldn't want my pictures out there, right? So I get that. No girl, no lady should want their pictures out there like that. Nobody. What Kenya did was wrong. I would defend somebody against that all day long. But then to come back at that, and she wants no one to have any kind of empathy for Kenya. No one. This is all about me. Forget anything that happened with, this is me. She did this to me as if she did nothing. I think that's the only thing that
bullshit. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
I know Britt, her body job looked really bad in that swimming suit too.
I didn't notice. I didn't notice. But I mean, and that's a scary situation, because there are a lot of girls out there that have done whatever they can do to get some money, and if they got the body to do it, and they were made, what it is. Nobody wants that to be seen unless you're getting paid, which she was. Right. It don't make it right at all. But in this situation, it's wrong, but it's not just wrong on Kenya's part. Is all I'm saying.
I agree. No, I'm never going to say threatening somebody with a gun and then lying about it. To me, what makes it even worse is that she's trying to convince everybody initially that she don't even in real time was saying she don't have a gun, nor does she have a gun, but doing podcasts is to say that she don't never leave her house without a gun, even if she runs to the gas station. So,
and then Kelly even says she's seen her with the gun.
Yes. Which makes me wonder, did she have it that day?
Thank you. And they didn't check until possibly a week later.
A week later. So of course she's gonna say no.
Yeah.
It might not have been on her person, but it may have been in her car. Yeah. And people don't talk pistol talk unless you mean it. Georgia is a what do you call it? It's the same thing here. What do you call it? Something in carry. Open carry state.
I wouldn't know.
Most red states are. So you can mess around if you want to.
Yeah. I just think it's all bad. It's all bad, but I'm glad we're getting beyond that.
Yeah, I remember that, Angela. She's saying that Britt's past was being discussed. Yeah.
When they announced she was on the show. Yeah.
If they took Kenya off the show. Well, I think that Bravo may be getting a taste because they were talking about this, that the numbers last week were a season low. And there are a lot of people, my daughter included, that said once Kenya got off, they weren't watching anymore.
Yeah. And Joy, and maybe you still watch it, but there are even some people that wasn't even Kenya fans that were mad and not watching it as well.
Yeah,
and it's not just because Kenya we love. They don't love, but it's because the way they treated Kenya as if
it does. I will even admit that I am not a Kenya fan at all. But I have always felt like that Bravo wasn't either. I've always felt like that. I've always felt like she always gets the villain edit. Because Kenya always had a comeback for, what they didn't show you was X, Y, and Z. It's little bitty things that I'll give you a small example. One of the reasons why I hate Kenya is because of how she did Phaedra. I think when you playing with people's husband, and I think that Apollo was definitely flattered by Kenya's attention. But when Kenya at some point realized that I can F with Phaedra through her husband, and she played with it, I've hated her since then. But when you go back and watch season, I think that's season, I can't remember if it's 5 or 6, when they go to Anguilla and and they are sitting around in a Anguilla in the backyard of this house. That's the scene where Apollo picks up Kenya and throw her. That was season 5. It was season 5. Yeah. And when they did that, I don't know if y'all remember, Kenya asked Phaedra and Apollo, if you could have a threesome with anybody here, who would you pick?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was horrible. But what we didn't see was that Kenya actually was talking to a group of people.
And they made it look like
it was a one-off private conversation, but they made it look like that. Well, when my daughter had mentioned that, because Kenya had mentioned it, and one day she was here a couple of weeks ago, and we were watching that episode, and I was like, "Oh my God, they are in a circle." It's something I had never noticed before. So
some people get those crazy edits.
Yeah, but they are all sitting around a circle. This wasn't some private conversation where Kenya just walked up to him and said that. She was actually talking to the group.
That is the way they wanted it to
look like that. And
but
they kept showing other people's faces, and when they show the other people's faces, you notice they're in a circle.
Yeah, I know.
So, Kenya wanted to play the victim. I mean, the villain. I think she does a really good job. But I always have to remember that these edits make it art. It's not reality TV.
Right.
And a lot of times we put so much emotion and so much anger into these ladies when it's literally misguided.
Yeah, it's
Literally.
a big time with edits. So Angela's comment says Kenya was an OG because Phaedra can't carry the show, which is a good segue into Porsha not being able to carry the show. And so you sent me
I don't
what?
think Phaedra has ever wanted to carry the show. I don't think that this is the reality. The only person that I think that could carry the show, and she can't carry it completely, is Nene. I've always thought that of every girl that's ever been on here, it would be Nene. But let me also say this. I think what makes this is an ensemble situation. Even Nene needs other people to bounce over.
Yes.
Even Nene needs somebody to shade. Even Nene needs somebody, an audience to make. What's wrong with a Bob? Nothing. Even she needs somebody to talk to.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
what makes these women organic? I mean, or a great ensemble. There should at least be one anchor, and unfortunately, that's what this season is missing. Because
Right.
Nene used to make a great anchor because even if she started or was a part of some of the drama, her confessionals were so good. She knew confessionals well. If you go back and look at the first couple of episodes, Cynthia has really good confessionals. She knows how to do those well. These other girls ain't figured that out. Shamia did a little. Confessionals should be funny. You should be shading yourself and the situations around you. These girls haven't learned that. Porsha ain't never really been. She's been some little things that's funny, but Porsha's just funny, but she has to bounce off somebody. Porsha
does have to bounce off somebody. I think Kel will get it. She's good to me.
Kelly is better, but she's new.
She's definitely new.
Kelly, what are you doing?
Yes, girl.
What's
you
the matter?
Scratching it. Yeah, and Mike, you rubbing it up against something.
What
you think, Demisio?
I'm rocking, always rocking.
I think I think Shamia, is doing a good job being the anchor of the show. I think
You do?
I do. I think Shamia is, besides getting on my nerve a little bit with the Portia of it all, because girl, Portia's not your friend. Like, stop irritating me with that.
But she doesn't know that. Like, Porsha should, every time I watch an episode, I think Porsha should be ashamed of herself.
Yeah, but it's just like, other than that aspect, seeing Shamia kiss Portia's ass when Portia really ain't a good friend, she is a good job at anchoring the show and being that. She might not live up to Nene's standards, of course, but I feel like for what we have and what we got to, deal with at the moment, like Shamia she's doing a decent job. Like, it's centered around her, if you really want to be honest with you. And I think that's another reason why Portia is a little mad. She thought it was going to be centered around her, and it's not. It's centered around Shamia. They're going to Shamia's house for the kicking it in the group scenes.
I don't think they centering around her. I don't think they
kind of leaning that way.
I don't think this season has found an anchor. That's just how I see. I don't see
it. Absolutely is. When they go to somebody's house to meet up, it's Shamia's house. Like, that's what's
been
going on.
Kelly's just as often, though.
The point is, it ain't Porsha. Porsha thought it was going to be
her.
Porscha,
but my point was, I think
it's Shamia. That's this is my square. You asked me how I felt. So I'm telling you how I feel. I feel like Shamia is the anchor. She is the one that is keeping the group somewhat together. When they had the brunch, Kelly hosted the brunch, but whose house were they at? Shamia's. I mean,
did we talk about what? Yeah. I don't know. I think she's not getting maybe what she expected because she doesn't have the family with her right now that she thought she would have or wanted to have. I think that is really why she might be upset with Drew and Dennis.
I think she the real problem with Drew that Porsha doesn't want to say is the fact that she wanted to film with Dennis all season long, running around flirting and him chasing after her. That's not happening, and that's why she's really mad.
Yeah, I can agree with that as well. I can agree with that. But did we talk about what Angela overheard? Did we already talk about that?
No, we finna get there.
Okay.
So I thought this was interesting because we don't
That's so
actually
the
have the
Porsche just
audio.
so disgusting
Wait
for
a minute.
that.
Let's get to let's lay it up. We don't actually have the audio of what was said. We have Kelly's version and we have
Brit's version and Portia's version and
yeah,
Angela's
Brit's
version.
Porsche. Yeah. Well,
And the only one I
only thing
believe is Angela and Kelly. So
what he it's a cross between she needs to stop before I sleep with her husband, or Brit said, what did Brit say? She said,
basically
That she had
said
a
she didn't.
boyfriend, a girlfriend in New York.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
both things are not good things. So I'm trying to see why. Like it doesn't matter which one it was said.
But the first thing that was said was from Portia. I didn't know anything.
Oh, that was so funny. She said, I didn't say anything. That henny. She said anything.
Anything, right?
Not
Right.
anything, but anything. So
Uh-huh.
this is the part that ties into what we were talking about at the beginning. Is that, this would be the third incident in regards to Porsha and a married man. In all my Black life, in all the friendships that I have unfortunately lost, or the anger you have amongst girlfriends, I have never fixed my mouth to say I would screw their husbands. In all my Black life, I don't even know if I would want a friend. Like I have we've all been in situations as women where you felt like somebody's husband was a little bit too flirtatious. Or I even had a girlfriend whose husband had made a comment. Oh, I would never forget. Oh, this pissed me off. I cussed him out real good with my husband there. He had made a comment about, this was 100 years ago. Girlfriends, my husband made a comment like, you should do something more like Joy. It was
Mm.
something, it was something regarding that. And she told me this in anger. And you know how you have a friend that's acting funny, somebody you talk to this was my buddy I used to talk to every morning going to work. And you mad at me about something that don't have nothing to do with me. But he had been saying things like that for a while.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I had to cuss him out. Like, why would you do that? You causing a rift that doesn't need to happen. And it's like, can you imagine her talking about my husband? She wished that she would do something like somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you're a disgusting a-hole. I was so glad when she divorced his butt. But I cussed him out real good.
I mean, when it comes to stuff like that, because like I said, I'm inclined to believe Angela and Kelly over Britt and Portia, and I think Britt is just making up something to cover Portia's ass.
Yeah,
But so
yeah.
I'm
No,
inclined to
she
believe.
said that because we saw the clip for next week.
Oh,
That
She
was
so
said
she
what?
said.
did say that Charles had a girlfriend in New York.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, both things are disgusting. Also, yeah,
Yeah.
but when
Yeah.
it comes to, I guess the part specifically was that she better stop before I fuck her husband.
Yeah.
I'm going to be less inclined to judge Portia on there because of situations that I have been in. So I'm not going to judge her because I have said something along the lines of those things before. So I'm not going to judge her, but that
Well,
is still disgusting.
here's the thing
I just had
with
like a
that though.
situation. I had a situation like that before where I'm not gonna say who this person was to me, but just know she was very, very close to me. And me and her boyfriend had a emotional relationship with each other throughout their relationship. And I did at one point say when things came to a head, like she better quit before I actually do fuck him. So I can't judge Portia wholeheartedly for that because I have been in that type of like situation before, but it's still different because Portia, you don't even have nothing with this man, nothing. So you are for sure would be going out of your way to fuck somebody else's husband. In my defense, what was going on between me and the boy was
Hmm.
happening way before they even got into a relationship. It just did not stop,
But
like it
Demetria,
should
let's keep
have.
it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Many people do many things with somebody's husband and say things they shouldn't say all the time, every day. Portia makes hers really obvious. A lot of people don't, they're not out there and that quick to say that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, and no matter what she's doing, she still has a huge following. And why do y'all think that is? That's one question. And then the other question is, we can see that Britt is she's trying to hang on to Portia for whatever the reason is. And you would think, I mean, Portia is cute, and your husband ain't ugly. I mean, but you want to be her. But you don't think she'll come to get your husband, or do you think her husband wouldn't be
Yeah.
interested in her because she maybe want to go?
Well, her husband's gay, so of course,
And
allegedly,
that's my.
but
I'm not going to say that. I'm saying what if Britt
allegedly,
is so comfortable with
allegedly,
her?
allegedly, honey.
I
But
know, but so for me at least, what Portia said was wrong, but she
yeah,
don't understand it.
absolutely,
It's the fact
absolutely.
that Portia, did you really just say that? It makes you look bad. And
Yeah,
then
it's like
Angela
especially
said,
your history, girl. Come on.
listen up. When y'all hear Portia say something about her doing your husband, just know she will because she has. So with people knowing that, you would think, well, okay, even if that's your thought, shut up because we know that you don't want that out there. Especially if we can think one thing, if you say it's not true, then don't throw stuff out there like that. That's all. Ain't nobody perfect, but I don't know.
Oh, something else that I wanted to mention is that scene between Cynthia and Porsha. I thought was really cute when Porsha started taking off her eyelashes. It kind of reminded me of when Nene and Greg was breaking up, and Nene took off them eyelashes and put them on that paper towel on that table. You just be like, two bees in a bucket. I'm tired. And I think that the producers keep forgetting that drama will happen organically amongst a bunch of women, that they need to let things happen more organically so they make sense, and that we need more fun moments. We need more moments that we're going to laugh at. So the drama, they need to let the drama build. When I was watching a couple of Saturdays ago, they were playing season 3. It was actually a really good season. That's when we met Phaedra. The big drama didn't come until the end. Bravo needs to go back to that. Allow that drama to build. I mean, these girls think they got to come out the gate starting drama. That's what in my opinion, what happened with Kenya and Britt. Britt almost was told to perform.
I mean,
And
she was eager.
she was eager to. She wanted an issue. She had an issue, and she just ran with the stupidest crap. So it just didn't make sense. It didn't even make sense to Andy. And these girls are under too much pressure. But if you let things happen, like with Angela, and I will give Angela this, I don't necessarily like her, but I think she makes a really good housewife. I didn't
Absolutely.
initially, but she's actually a really, really good housewife. I don't have to like you to think you good for the show, because I never liked Kenya, but I've always thought she was good for the show. And Angela, I think, is really good for the show. She knows when to walk away, and she does things with such class. Like, she ain't yelling and acting a fool. When this incident that's gonna happen next week, and she go off on Britt, Angela don't even raise her voice. She reminds me of Phaedra. Phaedra is like that too. You never hear Phaedra lose her. You almost caught it once when she almost hit Kenya with that purse.
With that purse, just what I was
But
thinking about.
Phaedra does not lose her temper. She
Right.
says what she has to say in whatever tone she's in, and when she's had enough, she will walk away.
She will. She will. I like that about Angela too.
And I like that about Angela.
Yeah.
She don't have to get, and she keeps, and she's quick wit. She got these girls flustered. When Angela come back, she coming back on track. When they were sitting up here talking about miles on your mouth, and she said, "Well, maybe you ain't got enough miles." That's a dig
Yes,
at
she
her
did.
about her obviously about her relationship, which they
Britt
keep
is
playing
quick
with.
to jump up too when somebody says something to her.
Yes, it's
Yes.
like,
She
girl.
is quick to jump up.
Mhm.
She's gonna
And it's like
jump up at
furthermore
Portia one
proving,
time. Portia gonna knock her out and
But
remind
she
her.
she brings too much ghetto energy
yes, it's
too.
She
like
really
furthermore
does.
proving
Mhm.
Kenya's point, like you're
Yes.
acting like you're trying to do something to
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah,
Which
Absolutely.
I don't think Angela would be the one, but still.
yeah.
Because I don't think Angela would be
Porsche can't do
one
nobody's husband because husbands don't
jump
participate.
up
Did you
on.
hear that? Yes, Angela.
I definitely think Angela would probably kick Brit's ass.
Yeah,
Angela looks like she don't play.
yeah.
She
So
looks like
yeah,
she don't play. I'd agree with that, but
Porsha can't do nobody's husband if
unless they
those husbands.
participate.
That's true. No, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Well, Charles is out in them Atlanta streets acting free. That's what they keep saying. That's why don't nobody husbands want to come on this show. This they can't cheat in peace. They want to cheat in peace. But it is what it is. But anyway, I just wanted to say that. I don't know if y'all have anything else. Yeah, how y'all like Cynthia moving? Cynthia really on
She's
Brit?
feeling like Bailey.
No, we mean on the show.
Oh, I just feel like Cynthia. It's like Cynthia is Cynthia. It's like whatever.
I didn't really like the way.
Callie,
Your
the mic,
mic, you
baby.
cover
Let
some
me
of.
put it down. Hold on, hold on.
There
Is
it
it
is. It's
okay?
back. You back.
Okay. I don't like when she was. I kind of lost my thought. I didn't like the way she was kind of babying Brit. Oh, don't worry. I understand. Shut up.
She took such a strong stance to be Kenya's.
To be Kenya's girl.
Yeah, that's why Kenya ain't talked to us.
And that's why Kenya didn't bring up her name when she did her little confessional.
Yeah, she said she didn't want to talk about Cynthia. I get it.
I can't. Oh no. Okay. I can't really think of anything else.
Yeah, I think that's it. Well,
I love that Angela. And that's why I said this one thing I like about Angela. She does not hold back. She says how she feels. She stands on it because when they woke up the next morning to leave Nashville, I love how she wasn't being fake. Good morning.
I ain't
Yeah,
being fake. I ain't in the mood to be fake.
get out of my face.
Yeah. I'm glad to see that she had a hairstylist because before her lace front does sweat and lift up a lot. I started to post a picture today and I thought, well, that would be really petty to like show that. But then when we saw her with her glam squad, she came out and her lace front was laid. So apparently, she says she's new at wearing them. So maybe she'll get better at it as this season
Oh, they
goes
always get new stylists to be calling them at the end of the season if they come back.
Thank God.
You usually get better. I have low expectations for any new wife their first year. It's the second year they usually get better. Their hair gets better, their clothes get better. I don't really trip off that because I think that's real girl stuff. Most real girls wear what they feel comfortable in. Most girls ain't walking around with gowns. They wearing stretch pants or jeans.
No, I wasn't even talking about the clothes. Yeah, I was talking hair specific, but bringing up the gowns, they talked a little bit about that on the after show where Kel and Shamia were saying, Kel said, I don't want to see y'all showing up in no prom dresses and stuff. She said some people show up dressing old. And then Shamia said, well, they probably think I dress old. And then I thought, yes, I do. What is it?
I don't necessarily think she dresses old, but I think she's dramatic.
Who?
Shamia.
I think she's dramatic.
Oh.
You just think dramatic. Okay.
Girl, that girl's skin is just glowing.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm talking about Shamia. Her skin is.
I know. I'm saying like I don't.
She's like perfectly brown from head.
I wouldn't necessarily consider Shamia like a fashionista.
No, me either. Me either.
I mean, whatever. I don't think anyone on the show, for me, just be doing it in the fashion department like that.
I don't know. I hate to say it, but Brit has had on some cute outfits. The black and white one she wore to the brunch was very cute. And then the cowl one she had on in the little country town or wherever was cute, but then that's going to cause a fight. So I don't really remember what she wore before that, but I've seen her with a couple
Phaedra is in one of these segments.
I knew I wasn't crazy.
Yeah, she is one. She threw the fan, but they just opened her up because they were only showing initially Brit and Porsha.
I know.
And now they just pulled out and they did Phaedra said something about the fans and they was like, where throwing them fans.
Right.
But yeah, they initially they were not showing Porsha.
Right. But in this one, I'm like, no, I'm looking. But anyway, yeah, she had on some cute boots. So that's what made me think she's kind of be on the show earlier than 5 more episodes, but obviously not, I guess. We'll wait and see.
I don't know. I'm only going by what old boy said, but you might be right. He could be off by his episodes. He said that it would be another 4 or 5 episodes before Phaedra come in. He said that on Watch What's Happening Live. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's not a long time away. Yeah.
Unless they're doing a full season. It's possible that they went up to like 20 with them. That is possible. Because they say when there was already a rumor that once Kenya left, the show lost its footing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Porsha went to bat for Phaedra, and Phaedra just jumped because they were finished filming. She had finished filming. What's the name of it? Married
to Medicine.
So she just jumped on over. So
now Apollo is out there trying to call her out about stuff that happened with his ex or Sheeran. On the Married to Medicine. Why is he bringing that up now?
Probably because Phaedra refused to film with him. Like Apollo he's that type of dude. And it's just like they were saying that Shireen, that scene that happened with Phaedra, that didn't happen. That Phaedra didn't call her a bad, they didn't hear that.
Oh, okay.
He was like, Phaedra would know better than to say that to Shireen.
Child, she heard her. They were saying
because Dr. Heavenly said all kind of stuff was said that we didn't.
She lies so much, though.
This is true.
There was something. This is the reason why she would forever be a liar to me. I'll never forget. I don't know if it was last season, whenever it was the first season that Sweet Tea was on there, and she posted online that Dr. G been trying to get back with Phaedra. I mean, get back.
Oh yeah, with Quad.
Quad came in because she was mad at Heavenly then, and she was like, "Stop lying. That is not true." He has not. He hasn't. He's been nothing but respectful. This is why I didn't understand their beef when the next year happened. But this was like while they were filming. I just didn't like how. But my point is, she proved that she will lie, just make up stuff, just to make up stuff. And it was a situation where Gregory did reach out to her, but it had something to do with their. Apparently, Quad was still on the deed, and she had to sign some papers to remove herself from the deed. And Sweet Tea talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so like Heavenly made something out of it that it wasn't there. She made something out of it that wasn't there.
And that's what she does.
Yeah. And so I don't trust anything that comes out of her mouth. Because if she would lie about that, just something so simple, it's just unnecessary. And you talking about real people's marriage, but can't nobody say nothing about you, girl, whatever.
Okay.
I can't stand her. Last thing, if you all watch Beverly Hills, apparently Erica has been demoted to a friend.
Hallelujah. In her own words, honey, won't he do it?
Yeah.
Demetria, I was cracking up at that video.
Right, that she's been
demoted.
I
knew it.
PK was seen out with some woman outside kissing.
Yeah,
Ryan Seacrest's
she's a reality star or something.
Yeah, and she must want money. And Dorit has officially filed for divorce.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I hope I think she'll pick up with a decent man and start over. Right? Who knows?
I don't know, but I think people were very disappointed with Beverly Hills. And how they handled their
for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I think
it don't even got nothing to do with Garcelle, if we're gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it has something to do with Garcelle, but baby, it's way bigger than Garcelle.
It's bigger than Garcelle, but that was the final straw for me. I'm done with Beverly Hills.
Yeah, but allegedly only Kyle and Bose are the only ones with full-time contracts at the moment.
Yeah.
So, and my whole thing is it's just like, child, like I said in my video about Kyle that I made, Bravo needs to learn when it is time to get rid of somebody, get fucking rid of them. We do not want to see Kyle anymore. We don't. If Kyle is not going to get her ass up there and be honest about what's really going on in her life, then we don't fucking want it. We don't want it. We're not going to sit through another season of Kyle not being all the way honest about her separation and divorce and going and divorce that man and get it over with instead of
They
dragging
should
the
make her
separation
the
out.
friend just to
Like
make her
we don't
perform.
need it. We don't need it. Kyle is not being honest about the Morgan situation. She's not being honest about her divorce and separation.
But
Like
y'all
she's
don't
not being
always
honest
want
about.
honesty, though.
I mean, yeah, we do. Especially if you're
No,
gonna be the main one preaching. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Oh, absolutely. Because Kyle like to cherry pick everybody else's misery, but soon it's time to cherry pick us. She don't want to talk about it. Oh no, Trick. We're gonna put it on Front Street today. Front Street. That's why I'm glad that Garcelle was doing what she was doing because when it's somebody else's turn, Kyle is the ringleader behind it. And
That's
again,
true.
going back to what I said on my TikTok video, the way that they did Denise, and regardless of, and I'm going a little rant here, so just give me a little room, let me cook. Regardless of if Denise slept with Brandy or not, because I believe Denise, I don't think she slept with Brandy, but that's neither here nor there. Regardless of if she did, the fact that they tried to turn that situation and twist it, and not only make it seem like she's a lesbian in the closet. They tried to make it seem like and insinuate that she was cheating on Aaron and
Yeah.
sleeping with Brandy behind his back. So not only are you somewhat being homophobic,
it
somewhat exposing some business that ain't even yours to be exposing in the first place, you're accusing this lady of having an affair on her husband. So even if she did sleep with Brandy, I would have denied it and I wouldn't have told y'all motherfuckers neither. And that came after the whole mom shaming thing and all that. It's just like when you look back on it, it's like Kyle is just a horrible fucking person. Like y'all really are mad because y'all couldn't come after Denise because of the whole Charlie Sheen custody battle thing. And that's even worse than the lesbian gate.
Yeah.
all
All
right.
right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and end this live. Thank you for joining us. We will see what's gonna happen next week. It looks like it's gonna be some fire between Britt
And
and
Angela,
Angela. So we'll tune in. For those that may or may not know, Peacock now has an after show for Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's like 18 minutes. They used to put them on YouTube. I think they put them on YouTube in segments, but you can watch the whole thing like a straight up episode. And they have the girls separated very interestingly. If you've seen those clips, you've seen them. I think these are the alliances, kind of, sort of. I don't think Cynthia really has an alliance, but a couple of the other people, I think is pretty much how the friendships will play out. So, all right, thanks for joining. Bye. Oh, and join us if you all like podcasts. We on all podcasts. If y'all want to listen in your car, anywhere that you watch, listen to podcasts. I listen to podcasts uh YouTube Music. I actually pay for YouTube Music. And you can also download it on Spotify, any place that you listen to your podcast. You can download us at Chatter Up. Please look us up.
can
Please.
we review Miami this year?
No.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Who's on there?
I'm just trying to figure out. Y'all always
Hold on.
hollering
Peace
that we
out,
don't.
y'all. It's peace.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
Have you ended it?